We just got a huge injury update that will define the matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday for the New York Jets, and we have to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jet Football 365. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a second, hit that subscribe button. But getting into the news for today, coming from Adam Schefter, Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor has been ruled out of Sunday's game due to the bone bruise in his knee, as Brian Cox reported, which makes Justin Fields quarterbacking versus the Cincinnati Bengals, something that no Jet fan wanted to see again. Justin Fields continues to be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, and we don't even have any opportunities for any sort of meaningful change. You have to imagine Fields is going to continue to struggle, but Tyrod Taylor was, of course, going to be the starter this week if he was not injured. That was not confirmed by anyone, but dude, I mean, it's pretty clear and obvious that Aaron Glenn has been standing right by Justin Fields' side the whole time, and this week he finally got away from him a little bit, which kind of tells us that he was about to make the quarterback change because he recognizes that this football team needs a spark. And I saw Stephen A. Smith say this, and I could not agree more. He said, if Aaron Glenn does not bench Justin Fields for Tyrod Taylor or for someone else, it may end up costing his job, and it absolutely may have if Aaron Glenn did not decide that he was going to go to Tyrod Taylor. Of course, yesterday we saw the extremely tense rapport back and forth that Aaron Glenn had with a reporter. For me, I think Aaron Glenn was correct when he decided that he wasn't going to tell the reporter who the starting quarterback of the team was going to be on Sunday, because I don't know why you'd want to give your opponent a competitive advantage when you don't have to give them that advantage. I mean, it seems really easy to me that you don't tell the media who you're starting. Like, you guys, if I'm the coach, I'm saying, you guys don't need to know who I'm starting. Like, why would I ever tell you? I'm not telling you just to be nice. It would be nice to be 7-0. We're 0-7. We can't be telling our opponent anything that's going to give them a leg up. And I know I already said this in the last video, but it's funny to make fun of the Jets and saying, oh, they always just make the wrong moves and they're fighting over something that doesn't matter. But if the New York Jets were 5-2 or 4-3 or had a record that was actually competitive, people would be looking at it and be saying, yeah, you're trying to win games. Why would you ever give your opponent a competitive advantage? That's not something you want to do. The first step of not being a poverty franchise, with which I love the New York Jets, but we are a poverty franchise. The first way to stop being a poverty franchise is stop acting like a poverty franchise. And that not giving your opponent a free competitive advantage is a step in the right direction. The reporter was completely in the wrong. Yes, he was trying to do his job. Part of a reporter's job is to be pushy and try to get the answer, because at the end of the day, the reporter's trying to do his job as well. And if Aaron Glenn, I mean, I know it just, but probably more than a lot of people watching this video, someone who makes Jets content creation, it's a lot harder this year because Aaron Glenn gives us less headlines and less dysfunction to talk about than it's been in the past with the New York Jets. But I recognize that's a change for the better when it looks at this team. Speaking of changes that aren't for the better or not changes at all, with Tyrod Taylor not being available to start this weekend, Justin Fields will get another start in what you have to imagine will be his final opportunity to be a starting quarterback for the New York Jets, and probably for someone else as well. I know we're watching Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, maybe even Mac Jones soon too. The list of reclamation projects seems to get longer and longer every single season, and maybe Justin Fields is that next guy, but it's pretty clear and obvious that he's not going to work out with the New York Jets. He holds the football for way too long. The offensive line isn't perfect, but I promise you, if Justin Fields is throwing the football when he's supposed to be throwing it, the sack numbers go way down and the offensive line would look a whole lot better. Also, one little underrated part, one drawback of having a running quarterback is that a lot of the time your offensive line doesn't know where that guy is in the pocket, so that can lead to more holding penalties. And when Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields scrambles out of the pocket, that leads to more holding penalties, because when you're blocking, you got your hands inside the guy's shoulder pads and you're holding him because you're taught to hold as an offensive lineman. You're taught to hold your defender, but you hold him inside the shoulders so the officials don't see it, and everyone's doing it. The officials know you're doing it. Everyone's doing it. But when the quarterback rolls left, and the defender wants to follow him to the defender's right, your left, if you're holding him, you're going to see the pull of the jersey. Your hands are going to go like this, and the jersey's going to get pulled. You're like this. Jersey gets pulled like this. Now it looks like a hold. If I'm holding you in here like this, the refs aren't going to call that. They're not really going to see that. Even if they know it's happening, they're not going to call it. Once they see this, because your quarterback is scrambling out, that's going to lead to more penalties as well, which is another challenge of having a rushing quarterback, even though I understand the pros far outweigh the cons when you have a starting quarterback who is a dynamic dual threat. And I would love for Justin Fields to be a dynamic dual threat, but he is dynamic. Unfortunately, he's not a dual threat. He can't throw on time. He does not throw with anticipation. He doesn't throw, timing routes he struggles with. So a timing route is something like a slant or an out route where they're short throws and they're open when you're throwing them, but they got to be in the right timing, because a slant, if you think about it, your wide receiver takes 2 steps up and then immediately goes on the slant. As a quarterback, you have to hit the hole in the zone right there the second he cuts. And if you let him go too long, he's going to drift into either a safety who's come down into the box or a linebacker who's chilling there in a hook zone. You have to make sure you hit your wide receiver in the zone, or in the spot with timing in between the zones, or with timing before the man coverage defender is able to break on it. So we watched against the Denver Broncos, the play that Garrett Wilson got injured on, the out route, another timing route. You have to throw it before your guy cuts. You have to have it drilled in at practice and have a good amount of chemistry between your quarterback and your wide receiver. So your quarterback knows where the wide receiver is going to be, and your wide receiver can turn around, put his hands up, and the pass isn't going to be perfect, but he knows within a pretty good range. He knows where the football's going to be. That's what good teams are able to do. That's how real quarterbacks throw out routes. Justin Fields throws it too far inside, throws it too late, and Garrett Wilson tries to contort his body and gets injured, and now he's out for last week, out for probably this week as well. We're going to have the bye week coming up as well, so he gets more time to recover. Garrett Wilson is not probably out for this week. He was out yet. He was announced yesterday, already out. It's not completely Justin Fields' fault, but these are all things that I said last year. Got an absolute ton of hate for saying it, and just absolutely nailed each and every single one of these takes about Justin Fields. It's because they're not takes. They're not emotional, or just, it's not things. They're not subjective things that I'm saying. Justin Fields factually and objectively does not throw with anticipation, meaning he does not throw before the guy gets open and before he starts his cut or his break. He waits for the guy to get his head around, and in that moment, the holes in zones in the NFL, they're just not open for that long. The windows are too tight. You got to be earlier on the football with that. That's not going to work if you're Justin Fields. Now, for Jets fans, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I know the NFL draft, we always talk about it. This quarterback's going to save us. Sam Darnold's going to save us. Zach Wilson's going to save us. Geno Smith's going to save us. Christian Hackenberg's going to save us. And it never ends up happening. But coming from New York Jets insider Rich Cimini for DraftNix, that New York Jets have 3 scouts at today's Indiana UCLA game, presumably to check out Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. They call him Francisco Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza, perhaps the top quarterback prospect. So, Fernando Mendoza is easily my number 1 quarterback in the draft, and let me tell you why. I need a quarterback. If I'm a play caller and a head coach, I need a quarterback who can execute the game plan. Last year, I talked about how didn't like Cam Ward because he didn't make the routine plays. Yes, he made those highlight plays, but for the best highlight plays, there was the rollout against Duke where he throws it all the way across his body and throws an interception. Cam Ward also passed up the short open routes in favor of not throwing a deeper route, just waiting to see if something deeper would develop. And when it didn't, he either had to throw the ball away or throw the ball, check it down, and it was either incomplete or caught for 0 rack, where you could have had run after catch if you threw it correctly on time. Fernando Mendoza does not pass up the play when it's there to be made. You just want to play on schedule, play complimentary football, don't make mistakes, move the chains, stay on schedule. First down, pick up 6 yards is amazing. Just pick up 4 to 6 yards, live for second down, set up 3rd and shorts, or pick it up on second down. That's how I love my quarterback to play. Fernando Mendoza, 6'5", doesn't have a rocket arm. He is, they call it functional athleticism. Today against UCLA, already broke a bunch of tackles and had an awesome first down pickup running the ball. He's against the NFL, he's probably not going to be breaking a whole lot of tackles, but I do think that unlike last year where every single quarterback, there was not a quarterback that I was excited for in terms of the New York Jets last year in the draft, but Fernando Mendoza is definitely something that New York Jets fans can be excited for. But one thing to mention, Aaron Glenn definitely wants a running quarterback, and that's not Fernando Mendoza. One last thing, talking about the quarterbacks from last year's draft class. Brady Cook, the undrafted free agent quarterback in 2025, coming from Missouri. He is also on the New York Jets roster. He you have to imagine will be promoted to the backup quarterback. I have no interest in seeing him play. I've seen, I think 6 games of his all-22 film, and he doesn't have elite traits. He's not a fantastic processor. He's not going to be the answer. We're going to see him play probably 1 or 2 games, but I can tell you guys right now, he's not going to be the answer. Undrafted free agents, look at the history of that. I don't even know if there's ever been a UDFA quarterback who has been the franchise quarterback for a team. And you have to imagine when it comes to getting lucky and especially playing well at the quarterback position, the outlier is never going to be the New York Jets. The history just tells us that the New York Jets do not handle the quarterback position correctly. Maybe it's the New York media. Maybe it's New York Jets ownership. Maybe it's both. But hopefully Fernando Mendoza can get this thing turned around. Even more, being more hopeful than that, just looking at the glass half full. Cincinnati Bengals have a really, really bad defense. Maybe Justin Fields is able to turn it all around this Sunday. But, I mean, I really think the Bengals are beatable. I think coming up, the Browns are beatable. And the Patriots are certainly beatable. They're overrated. We've got the Dolphins on the horizon. 0-17 is not a certainty yet. We can hang on. We can still hold out hope. It's not going to be an amazing season, but I'm still going to be there watching every single game of my New York Jets. If you stuck around this long in the video, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And go Jets.